The 5 Laws on the Eternity of Life 2. Siafang. November 13, 2005. Translated by Transin. Now, let us look at the quantity of life in the universe. In the introduction, I talked about the birth or origin of life. In The Greatest Creator, I described the origin of the greatest creator and the universe. In Humanity and Life, I also spoke of the origin of human beings and life. Now, I want to ask you whether life's quantity in the universe is overall, static or dynamic. To be more specific, is the population of humans on the Earth constant or variable? If we look at the size of the Earth's population, we see that it is not constant, but undeniably variable. There were about 6 billion people on the Earth 20 years ago, but more than 7 2/3 billion now. This proves that the human population varies, which seems to indicate that the amount of life varies. However, when we understand the structures of the cosmic spaces, the essence of life, the law of symmetry and balance of the cosmic lives, we find that the total amount of life in the whole universe does not vary, but remains constant. This so-called variability is due to the transmigration and reincarnation of various kinds of life beings in the universe. People who do not know about oceans and icebergs certainly think that river water must vary seasonally when they see that it decreases in winter but increases in summer. However, people who understand about oceans, icebergs, glaciers, and weather changes understand that the total amount of water on the Earth is constant and never varies. The river with less water in winter does not tell us that the total amount of water on the Earth has decreased, nor does its increase in summer and autumn mean that the extra water comes from nowhere. It happens because water is brought from other places by the movement of the Earth and the changes of the weather. Things decrease in some places but increase in others. Things with one nature increase as those with another decrease. The universe as a whole is constant, what changes is its form. The total amount of energy is constant whether the universe is expanding or shrinking, otherwise the law of the conservation of matter that we learned as young children would be violated. Once we understand that the universe is constant and that the total amount of water on the Earth is also constant, we will know that the total amount of life in the universe is also constant. The so-called change is a change of life's form or expression, but not a change of its quantity. There are those who might ask where all the extra people on the Earth have come from. Those extra people have transmigrated and reincarnated from heaven, hell, animals, and plants. Have you not noticed that while the human population has increased, animal populations have decreased? The lost animals have morphed into humans. This is unimaginable. How can it be? Is this not far-fetched nonsense? In order to understand this, we must understand the essence of life. In my introduction, we discussed the achievement of Dr. Langdon. The essence of life lies not in its specific substance, but in its form, and then we reached a further understanding that life is a non-material structure with spirituality. Material forms are not the essence of life. People are different from animals in terms of their life forms, but they are the same in terms of their essences, their non-material structures. The only differences are their structural forms. I hope we can all agree that gorillas are not humans, but only animals. However, in light of their life structures, the difference between gorillas and humans is only 0.1%. With a random comparison between rabbits, sheep, and humans, the differences between their structures is less than 0.2%. There are very few differences among the structures of Jesus, Sakyamuni, Laozi, saints, and ordinary people, but those tiny differences are enough to make huge differences in their lives' spiritual qualities. Therefore, when we say that many animals have moved on to become humans, we cannot judge them by their forms, but recognize the essences behind those forms. Otherwise, no matter how many pages I spend on it, we will never understand the transmigration and evolution of lives.